Critical Pedagogy at Home and Abroad by Monique Corley. Reflect the impact on my education. I would say it was more based on the banking theory. Um, our teacher always had his or her back to the students. We cannot speak unless we were called upon. Assignments were already written on the board, so once we sat down, we had to write. The teacher will always ask us if we understood the material towards the end of the class. Um, if you had any type of learning disability, you were always placed in the back of the class. I had a speech impediment as well as a stuttering problem, and the teacher would always get mad when I stayed after class to ask questions. This just taught me to invert more into my quiet self as a child. In my current practice, what I do for my after school student in my classroom, I have created a safe haven, which is similar to Vary's friendship theory, which is based on building trust with the children. So then that way they're free to express their true emotions. And we have like this open forum where the children are able to talk about anything, whether it's an incident that happened at school, at home, or what's happening in society. And I always try to make sure that all my students feel equal and heard. I do encourage my students, especially the ones who like hesitate, that it's okay to respond. They won't be like judged or what they say if it's wrong, or if they think it's wrong or whatnot. I do positive reinforcement. I believe in building the children's self-worth, their self-confidence. Um, it's just about just building them up so that way they can start the day off really good and in a positive framework before they go into their actual classrooms for the day. Through my reading, I was very intrigued with northern Tanzania, just because of the fact that I was there back in August, and I found this study that happened in 2006 in northern Tanzania that launched promoting learning center, um, pedagogy, and critical thinking among the secondary school teachers. The study started off with less than 100 students. Now today is over 14,000 students with approximately 60 full-time and part-time staff. All the instructors have to do a week of training where they are learned the pedagogical content of knowledge, as well as the LCP. And this experiment lasted about 5 years. The schools in Tanzania, for the primary, they start about 8 in the morning and end about 1:30. Secondary, they go to school at 2 to 4, and during that 2 hour period, they're concentrating on like their math, their science, their social studies. Tanzania educational structure, they go for 7-4-2-3, which is 7 years primary, 4 years secondary, 2 years advanced studies, and 3 to 4 years of college. What I found interesting is that the educators, they made it clear that the pedagogy change in Tanzania was profoundly by social and economic conditions of teaching, such as the large numbers of students in small classrooms, the limiting of teaching and learning resources. I remember when I was there and I spoke with the director, and he says that each classroom holds about anywhere from 60 to 75 students. And these rooms are like very tiny, and I was just really surprised. And they're all set on the floor. The ones who have like the benches are more for like the secondary, the older kids. Um, The LCP has become localized in cultural, economics, and political conditions in which it is implemented. In other African countries, such as Botswana, Malawi, and Mali, they also have incorporated the analyst, the critical thinking, the creativity, problem solving, and they made it more prominent in their education, in their teaching. They have revised their policy for the primary as well as the secondaries for the teachers. And each country now includes phases such as like learning centers, inquiry, to pedago- pedagogy, um, and as well as participatory teaching. What I noticed with the difference is between the United States and Tanzania is that there is more dialogue through their teachings, where they're asking the children like open-ended questions, like what they're thinking, more like analytical thinking. And whereas here, um, there's not like the teacher and students don't see each other as peers. Um, the teachers are not giving like a refresher course um, to learn more about the LCP or the pedagogical content of knowledge. And whereas the PLC is seen as the best practice. With my questions would be is would educators or society be more open to pedagogy if the teachers and the students were not seen as equal? And how can I incorporate equality in my class when there is a class struggle amongst my students? And the last question is it even tangible to change the banking concept in our educational system?